There we go. Holy cow. Okay. I think we are finally live. I apologize to everybody. This was this is a rough night to get a stream going. Good gosh. I apologize. We started a stream. I have everything scheduled to go. I'm still got to figure all this crap out. Let me see if I can even drop a link to this. I do know I have some individuals. No, damn it. Do we have sound? There we go. Okay. Whew, man, what an issue. Jeez, what an issue getting this going tonight. So I scheduled this live stream a couple days ago, hoping this would kind of roll into smoothly. Whatever reason, my computer had to update. I came down here early. I was ready to roll. And then, of course, computer needed an update. And whatever that did to my freaking stream, it destroyed the original one, ate it up. I was able to access the chat. So I was actually working with the chat there to on my phone, just kind of keeping everybody up to date. But then to actually get it to come over to the actual stream to get that working was just not happening. For whatever reason, it was not happening. It was driving me mad. So here we are, though. We made it. We're here. So let's get things rolling. We are trying kind of a new setup tonight. So as you can kind of see, it's just me tonight. My boys, Guppy Guru and Michael with Bay Area Aquatics, are being nice enough and helping us mod on the live stream. So they're going to be in the chat tonight. It's going to be a lot of fun with them. But I also want to give a huge shout out to Miss Sharon Miller. She is now officially joined. I want to say that. Can I say that? She's now officially joined the Well-Done Tanks team, if not the live, or if not the Think Tanks team. I know she's been helping out Guppy Guru and possibly Bay Area Aquatics, but I talked with Sharon quite a bit, and we've been messaging back and forth, emailing back and forth, hearing all about her fish keeping adventures, and she has agreed to be part of our mod team here for the live stream. So happy to have Sharon here. She's just good people. And I'm super jealous too of the rice fish she's got in. So I've got her addicted. My plan to have rice fish take over the world is happening. Sharon got some new platinum rice fish in, as well as some orange rice fish, I do believe. So that's fantastic. We're going to see some cool things come from there. But let's kind of see what we got here. So again, hopefully everybody made it over to the stream. Difficult to get into. I had to create a new one. I think for the next time, though, we'll be okay. So my goal with this is to make this a weekly event. And with my rotating schedule at work, it'll be a different night every night, maybe probably even different time frames. I wish I could say, every, what is today, Saturday? Every Saturday at 7 we'll be live streaming. This is not going to work that way. But a huge shout out, though, to Mr. B's Fish and Things. He is the one that, if you are not part of it, the Fish Tubers notification group on Facebook, he personally runs that, kind of took it on himself to run that, and keeps a very organized live stream schedule of everybody just to help us all out. So if you want to know, if you don't see my notifications, if you want to see when all of your favorite content creators are going live, check that out. Mr. B's does a lot for us, kind of on the back end. So we got HC Aqua in. Thank you very much, sir. You got some incredible stuff going on. Let's see. Looks like the sound is working now. I appreciate it. Jerry Ward, nice to have you here. Mr. Seroff, we've been talking on Instagram. Silent Water 81, welcome. And anybody new? And we got Sharon, of course. So I don't really have a designated topic for tonight. Hopefully to go for about an hour tonight, maybe a little longer to see what the time takes us. In the future, I do hope to come into these streams with kind of at least an idea, something I want to talk about, something that's kind of been on my mind lately. But tonight, I was hoping we could just do kind of a simple Q&A. So I'm going to hurry and share this, my own link out while we were talking. Since that was a random changeover. But that's all right. We'll make things work as we go. Here is the new link for the all right, posting, perfect. All right, what did I miss? What we got? First official question of the night. How many tanks are you thinking on the breeding rack? So I was counting them up last night, and it's not going to be, so I'm going to have 10-gallon tanks to breed in and 5-gallon tanks to breed in. So Guppy Guru is referencing the new Husky rack that I have up here in the fish room. I just put the video out on it yesterday, and it's actually probably by far one of the top viewed videos of my channel in terms of, it's only been out for like 24 hours now, and people are already killing that. So thank you for all the support on that. Unfortunately, the first video I put out yesterday morning on actually building your own aquarium racks, I screwed up the edit on that really bad. And unfortunately, some personal information on my family was visible. I did not think it was. So I quickly took that video down once I had some trusted people tell me about it. So I mean, this channel it's my hobby, right? It's the fish. It's like me and my wife were talking about it earlier today, that she said she may come join a stream one night or even a video, because I know the way she put it, she's like, everybody wants to know what your wife looks like. And I'm like, well, everybody more so wants to know what the wife thinks about the actual hobby instead of like necessarily what they look like. Granted, I'm very biased, and my wife she's a hottie. But so because of that information, I quickly took that video down and in turn sent out the Husky rack, because it's right next to me. All right, so to actually answer the question, how many tanks? So on the top row, and I'm looking right at it, on the top row, I plan on having 5-gallon tanks up top, because this rack is like 6.5 feet tall. It's almost right up to the ceiling, and I still needed to be able to get into the tanks to work, pull fish out of. So I'm going to have 5-gallon tanks up there. On the second, so then one shelf down, I'm most likely going to have the 22-gallon rimless tank in there. That's going to be a new blackwater setup, and this is actually going to be like the third attempt at a quote-unquote blackwater tank. I'm really excited to do that one, though. That one is definitely sponsored by Houston Manzanita for sending me out some of the sweetest hardscape I've ever done. I did an unboxing video on that, and I kind of joked about his new holographic sticker and all of that. Brian P, see you coming in there. Thank you very much. So I'm sorry. So then next to that 22-gallon tank, if you watched the quick minute live stream I did where I broke into Guppy Guru's fish room, picked up a Peter, is a 3-gallon tank. It's like a 3-gallon cobalt tank. Super nice little tank. That's going to sit next to the 22-gallon. So that tank's going to be, or that shelf is more going to be dedicated towards display tanks, as I still wanted to have kind of some displays, some things that I wanted to play with, some new things to try out. I did pick up some fish yesterday for the new 22-gallon tank. Very excited for that. And then I think behind those tanks, I'll be able to sneak in a 20-gallon long. And my goal is to replicate Dean's fry system, or replicate it close enough to where it fits my needs. So I'm really hoping to play with that. Then on the third shelf down, I'm going to have a new 33-gallon long tank in the front. Super excited to get one of those again. That is where the yellow zebra pluckers are going to go. And then behind that, I may set up some simple jars or something, maybe some 5-gallon tanks kind of back in there. And then the two bottom shelves will have 4 10-gallons each. All right, so now that I said all that, I got to do math here. Let me think. So I'm going to have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. What's 9 plus 8? Is that 17? So I think about 17 tanks, maybe a little more. But the best part about this rack though is so Peter actually turned me onto this rack. It holds 5,000 pounds. That's 1,000 pounds per shelf as that weight is spread over it. So, I mean, 1,000 pounds a shelf is a lot of weight. And even then, like, you know, water weighs about eight pounds a gallon, and you put on the weight of the tanks. But this thing is built like a freaking tank, and I'm so excited for it. I did hint to it on Instagram today. Aquarium Co-op straight up surprised me, sent me on a package. I had no idea it was coming. And I can't, I'm so, Aquarium Co-op sent me a massive upgrade for my fish room. And I started the video on it today. I want to release it in a set video to really kind of say thank you, but also when that video releases, we are going to have a giveaway coming up again. So I got a couple giveaways I'm thinking about in my mind, but man, we are sidetracking fast tonight. Jeff Chambers, welcome. Thanks for coming in. So now that you're gonna have me to look at tonight, man, and you don't have Michael here or Peter here to keep me on track. We may do some sidetrack discussions pretty darn quick. So yeah, I think between 17 and 20 tanks on this rack. I'm really looking forward to it. And then up above, so my new live stream setup, I've kind of jerry-rigged an awesome little thing together. So I mounted a new monitor to the wall so I can have a big monitor in front of me, have a better viewpoint with the camera in front of me, so I'm not necessarily looking down. But above that, I did a new floating shelf. Well, I guess we can call it a floating shelf for a nano tank. Really excited to get that going. The entire inspiration for that tank came from when I toured Jared Garner's fish room. I called it the most zen fish room, and he had a little 5-gallon tank with scarlet batis in it. It was just my absolute favorite. Absolute favorite. So really looking forward to get that going. It's a cool little build too. Like, I'm really happy how it came together. I'm really happy with the tank too. If anybody knows, like, I didn't, but Aqueon joined the Rimless game, and they make some sweet little tanks now. I mean, all they did was basically take off the top black trim on the tank. But when you catch them on the 50% off sales, I think for like $30, you can get a sweet little rimless tank set up and have its. What's nice though with that black trim still being on the bottom is you don't necessarily need a leveling mat, which like most rimless tanks need. So you don't need anything extra, but it's a sweet little tank. It's a nice little tank. So really happy to get that going. Yeah, HC Aqua. So it's kind of follow in the chat where I can. I'm very pleased with this Husky rack. So if anybody is looking for a good rack that's going to hold a lot of weight, doesn't take up a lot of space, check out these Husky racks. You can find some different versions of it on Amazon, probably Lowe's, Whole Local, hardware stores, that kind of a thing. But you throw some plywood on it, and then the way that I've been able to set up the drain lines for an auto water change system, and then even the air lines, has been really simple. I mean, it kind of surprised myself I came up with it. We're getting real here. Let's see. Sarah from doing some college work and listening at the same time. Well, welcome. Thank you. I'm always curious to see what people are studying. I started down that college journey, then I entered the blue collar workforce, and glad I did. Never looked back. So also, Sarah, what are you going to breed with the racks? So right now, mainly rice fish, man. I am so deep into rice fish. I am loving it. And I was actually talking with Wild Fishtanks today. An online company just released a red top, like a red cap rice fish. So if you've ever seen the red cap Aranda goldfish, shrink that down into a rice fish, and that's what you got. And it was the coolest thing. And I was like, oh, I'm going to buy it, have to buy it. Then I looked at the price. I was like, whoa. Way too much for my wallet. Very expensive. But I already have 5 different strains of rice fish. I am looking to possibly unload my Javanese rice fish. Beautiful fish. I've had a great time with them. I just want to really play with the more Binaca style. I was able to pick up about another 12, I think, Daisy Blue rice fish from my local fish store yesterday. Well, one of them. So I've got one that's really shut down. A second one is taking precautions. They're still open. And my family's been so cooped up in the house over the past few weeks that I finally just like threw them in the car. Like, no, we're getting out. We are getting out of the house. We're going to go play. Need to get the daughter out. Need to go do something. So we went to a store called Rusty's Reefs up in Bountiful, Utah. Really good guy. You know, there's weren't a lot of customers in there, and he's that store owner, like, my daughter loves everybody. Gosh, my daughter we got to teach her, like, not everybody wants a hug from you, but she went right up to Rusty, and, you know, he played with her, took her around the shop, let her ask all of her questions. So he's such a good dude. I did pick up so Daisy Blue rice fish. I'm going to have some gold Madacas in there, my Pearl Galaxy Madacas, my orange Binaca rice fish. Very happy to have those. I also have some, God, what are they called? I think they're katsu swords. So I found a swordtail, a live bear swordtail in my local fish store, and they are beautiful swordtails. I gotta find. They were calling them the Santa Claus swordtail, but they're absolutely not. They're called like a Kamatsu swordtail, something of the nature. Really beautiful fish. And I thought I only had one male and 4 females, but it turned out I had a sleeper male. The body's not nearly as big, but the tail on that thing is insane. And so I'm really hoping to, you know, really work with that strain a little bit. I have fish I haven't even shown yet. I purchased up some albino crebensis off Aquabit a few weeks ago. Excuse me. So really looking forward to getting those breeding. The seller was nice enough that he actually sent me out an extra pair. So I've got a total of 5 fish. I think I have 2 males and 3 females. So very excited to get those going. And then what else am I going to have on here? Oh, I really want to do some Hillstream loaches. Absolutely want to do some Hillstream loaches. Want to work with those. I'll have a tank dedicated to the mystery snails. I have some gold mystery snails that I want to play with. What else is going to be on there? What else am I going to have on the actual breeding rack? Gotta think. Oh, the plecos. So I'm really hoping to work with the plecos. And I think I'm going to bring in some blue eye lemon plecos. There we go. Not the other way around, as those are absolutely kind of one of my favorite of the Bristlenose family. So want to work with those. Oh, right. Let me find my place now. So that's what I'm looking to breed on there. Probably lots of different things. Yep. So Guppy Guru is the one that I really found this rack from, and I absolutely love it. I was talking with Sharon as well, and it sounds like she has a type of rack. And Sharon, I think Peter already answered you, but you can fit 4 10-gallon tanks across this just fine, or like 5 5-gallon tanks. So I'm incorporating some 5 gallons. You know, I never really knew like the power of a 5-gallon tank, believe it or not. Like, they are sweet little tanks. I always kind of underestimated them in the past, but they're awesome. They are really sweet. Jeff Chambers says he's busy moving tanks, but lurking. You know, I always enjoy those that are lurking in the chat or listening to this. So I'm curious to see what tanks you're moving, Jeff. Feel free to let us know more. You know, Michael, I think me, myself, and Peter could all jump on this rack and we could just start monkeying around and everything would be just fine. But I'm not going to say how many Trents that is. Going to become embarrassing. Let's see. Oh, Aquatic Monkey Business. They come in. Oh, look at them. Hello. They are here. So they recently just upgraded to like a 100-gallon tank. Super cool. And I think it was Julia that she did. No, sorry. Wife was texting me. So I think she did a DIY on a plant divider, and it's a great idea. It's a great idea for their tank, and I think I want to incorporate it here. I got to learn. You can't see my hands, and you can't necessarily see what I'm pointing at or talking about. But the 220, I'm thinking I'm going to incorporate their plant divider idea down into the sump of it, because I've had this idea that I really got from Corvus Oskin. And then I saw their plant divider, and I kind of started piecing things together in my head of, we oftentimes see or you hear a refugium in the saltwater hobby, but like you never really see it happen in the freshwater hobby kind of a thing. So I thought about it of like, what if I could get shrimp to breed down in my sump like Corvus Hoskin has, but really set up one like kind of territory off a place for plants to grow in outside of the main display. So something maybe like duckweed, guppy grass, something that grows really fast, but keep it contained in one area. I don't know. So something I'm playing with, kind of something I'm definitely thinking about. Let's see. HE Aqua, I recently heard that the albino female cribs won't usually breed with albino males. Never tried myself. Eesh, man, don't tell me that. That really makes me nervous because I've invested some money into them. They weren't crazy expensive, but really hoping to get those to breed because I actually heard Corey from Aquarium Co-op talking about them, and I was just like, you know what? Like, I actually really like those fish. I've always liked cribbensis, and I'm like, I just kind of surprised myself that I never had them. So I found some for a great deal and ordered them in. So fingers crossed that I'm not going to have to buy a regular male and get those to breed. But I do know that Michael has been breeding some cribbensis. He's got some babies running around. I believe the aquatic monkey's got some cribbensis breeding and running around. Let's see. Sharon, it makes me happy we like the same fish. Sounds like you love cribbensis. I used to breed them years ago. Yeah, it's something I know they're not terribly difficult to get to breed, but I've always wanted to play with them. I really like the shape of the fish, and then those albino ones where they get the really deep purple on the belly. Super beautiful. Let's see, Sarah, I have some purple mystery snails in my 55-gallon for about a month now, and I'm trying to get them to breed. So my way of getting the mystery snails to breed is I would probably break the internet if I showed how much food I put into that tank. Like insane amounts of food I put into that tank. And it's something you often hear like, don't overfeed your tanks, don't overfeed your fish, feed as much as your fish can eat like a minute kind of a thing. Like, no, like I'm in there like flake food, pellets, frozen food. Like, it's insane. And like those snails are just garbage disposal. So I did notice that as soon as I started dumping in food, that I started getting insane amounts of clutches. Don't really know if they had anything to do with it. I'm going to say it does. And I also know that the temperature in that tank stays between 70 and 73 degrees right now. And I have a hunch that the mystery snails actually breed easier in the cooler water versus like 78 to 80. Not a proven theory. I can't prove that yet. Haven't done enough really research into it or testing. Just kind of telling you what's been my experience with them. But, then I had my bristlenose plecos breed in there, so I started chucking in even more food. And that's where I have my swordtails and my Javanese rice fish. So a lot of fish in there. So everything eventually gets eaten. But I'm hoping some of the mystery snails have survived from the babies, because if they have, I should have thousands in there. But that's one reason why I'm going to dedicate just a tank on the breeding rack to mystery snails, so they can lay their clutches can hatch, then I can keep those going and eventually offer some up, because it's kind of been a fun thing to do, like actually breeding the mystery snails. It's one of those things you often hear of like, they're super easy to do, so easy to do. And yes, they are, but it's also, I think you have to have some semi-correct conditions. One thing that did also, let's see, did you say some purples? So purples are really beautiful. You did not say how many you had, though. I originally started with 15 mystery snails. So I started with quite a large group. And then I eventually added, I think, 8 more gold mystery snails. So that's what I kind of want to focus on more, is the gold mystery snails. So needless to say, the puffer's belly has not been, the puffer's belly has been huge for a couple days now, as he has been absolutely feasting on snails, as I've been slowly moving out my original kind of more of the brown, they call them like a brown wild type. They're okay. To me, they just look like a massive ram's horn snail, but the golds are absolutely gorgeous. Purples is something I want to play with, but we will see what comes up. See, aquatic monkey business. Our male cribbensis has 2 wives. The ladies don't get along, so now they're in separate tanks. I can make so many jokes about that, but because we are a family-friendly stream, I will make them in my Think Tank messaging group later so that I don't get kicked off YouTube. But I'm curious to see if that's going to happen with microbenzis. Let's see, Bay Area Aquatics. Cribs are easier than guppies, in my opinion. I think you may have just started a war with Guppy Guru. Yeah, guppies, my joke with guppies has always been to just add water. Like literally add water, add food, and you're going to get an explosion. Speaking of guppies, they're not guppies, but my swordtails, I know that all of my females are pregnant. So something's definitely happening there. But my concern, though, is that the fry are actually getting eaten. So I'm really hoping to play with those on their own tank. Really keep an eye on things. I do apologize. Let's see here. Sharon Miller, I have 2 clutches right now. So mystery snails. I think you were onto something about the cooler water. Both of my mystery snails and my plecos breed in cooler water. So I've seen a lot of videos go around lately right now of that's gonna be a long-winded thought right now. Let me think. So HC Aqua, I take any mystery snails. It's very rare here. Send me a message. Send me a message. I could probably. There's something I've wanted to test out, and that's actually shipping a clutch. So instead of shipping the actual snails, it's like shipping a clutch. I think it can be done. I have an idea how to do it. So HC Aqua, send me a message on Instagram. I think we can work something out there to get you some snails. I really would be willing to share on that one. But then back to Sharon's statement. So I've been seeing a lot of videos go around lately and a lot of discussion in some forums that heaters are kind of an overrated thing right now. Like I do feel that heaters are needed, right? There's some fish that need to be like my plecos, my zebra plecos, my yellow zebra plecos. That tank is at 84 to 85 degrees right now. And I absolutely have a heater in there. There's no way I could keep that tank that hot without a heater. But the rest of my fish room, not this, no, I know. I say fish room, we're in the fish room where my fish are being kept in my laundry room right now. I have no other heaters in any of the other tanks. None of them. The puffer's doing great. The plecos are doing great. I've had 3 spawns for my bristlenose plecos now. Just never an instance where I can really tend to them. So the fry usually get picked off by the larger fish or just have never survived. Yeah, the well-done washroom. I wish I could call it that, but my wife has already told me we are remodeling that room as soon as I get my stuff out. So, but I've noticed ever since that because I started with heaters in all the tanks. Tapaton Fishing, welcome. Good to have you here. But I noticed that as soon as I pulled the heaters out, rice fish started to breed. The guppies that Peter now has, the black pastels, those things exploded in numbers. My puffer became more active, not as lethargic. So it was just an interesting correlation to kind of see happen is that all my tanks, they stay between 72 and 75 degrees right now, sometimes even dipping down to the 70s. Like, well, geez, 270. And I've never had an issue with it. So it's something I want to play with more in my new fish room here, but I don't think that we always need to keep our tanks right at like 78 degrees. Granted, there's some species that absolutely want that heat. I fully agree with that, but something I'm kind of curious to play with a little bit more, kind of see what comes out of that. Because right now I'm hoping the breeding keeps up. Like I'm hoping the breeding continues, especially as I start getting tanks set up on the breeding rack. Because I would love to put fish in these tanks. Like 2 days later, poof, instant fry. So that, yes, so Guppy Guru, Trent needs to get us some pics of the rice fish so you can all buy them online. That is correct. I need to text Ian, Peter. I do need to send Ian some pictures. So I'm going to be selling, I believe I'm going to be selling my Javanese rice fish. Just got to clear some things up. Great beginner rice fish. So they should be available on the Salt City Aquatics website. And if you have not already, buy all the bettas. Buy all the bettas. All right, aquatic monkey business. In our tanks, everything breed likes the parents pay them bills and put food in the water. Yep, I wish that I could get a. No, aquatic monkey business. I just told your mom about the rice fish because I'm a sucker for rice fish, but the rice fish will be available, and you got a new 100-gallon tank that needs some fish in there. I'm just saying. But so things are coming together here in the fish room, kind of as I'm waiting for some more questions to come in. So I started the water lines. If you can see kind of behind me here, this is the water line that's actually going to be going to the breeding rack. I'm getting every tank. Well, most of the tanks on there will be on an auto water change system. So I ran the water line, and then I realized that I did not have nearly. Actually, show you. Come on. There we go. All right. I realized I did not have nearly as many fittings as I need. So what I'm going to be doing is using these. These are push connect fittings. So it's RO, quarter-inch RO tubing to these push connect fittings. Then I also needed some valves. I will not be using these exact ones on all of the tanks, as these are really expensive. So I purchased more from Amazon. They should be here in the next week. But it was kind of disappointing because I thought I had everything I needed. I was down here. I was going to run the water lines and then actually get tanks, like water in tanks this weekend. But nope, one more thing I had to order, one more thing I had to have to wait on to get here to finish anything. And I've been talking about this fish room forever. So I do think what we're going to do, though, this weekend is get the plumbing done on the 220 so I can start getting that ready, clean this up, make all this pretty, and then bring the new 60-gallon cube down here and possibly even get that plumbed this weekend. So a lot of plumbing going on. It's going to be a lot of fun. Yes, Silent Water 81 coming in saying, Mother Nature doesn't use a heater. Very true statement. It's seasons and cycles and whatever else going on out in Mother Nature. So it's kind of one of those things of like, I don't always think we need the heaters. HC Aqua, I tried pulling the RO tubing out of the fitting. I cannot do it for some reason. Okay, so you need to compress it. So actually like push the tubing in, so I kind of compress it in, then this should release. They do make some tools that will help you compress these down farther. If you have long enough fingernails, it can do it. Something I've done it with a screwdriver in the past. So you actually need to compress the fitting for it to release. So these are reusable. Kind of a pain sometimes, but yeah, you just make sure to compress it all the way down because it is designed that if you just actually like pull on it, it's not going to release. You actually have to compress that O-ring down far enough to get the tubing out. So I know that. I know it works. I've done it, but I had to learn the tricks. But get on I know Bulk Reef Supply sells a tool for it, and I guarantee you can find those all over Amazon if you actually want a tool. What it does, the tool is nice because it actually wraps around the entire fitting and compresses it all at once. So that's why you can use your fingernails. If you have two people, it can work. Like one can compress it down and pop it out. So doable, it works. It's actually how I had my old auto water change system set up, but very, very excited for it. Aquatic monkey business. Do you let your daughter pick out fish for your fish room? If I let my daughter pick out fish, I'd have more fish than I know what to do with. And that's me saying that. So we went to that local fish store yesterday, and her favorite thing right now is to ask, what's that? Everything is, what's that? What's that? So she was running around all the tanks, just pointing, what's that? What's that? So right now she's only like 1.5. So as she does get older, though, I will absolutely let her pick out some fish. And that's that little tank I got from Guppy Guru. And I'm actually going to be getting a betta from Guppy Guru. It's kind of going to be her tank to kind of start her out with. Because as she gets older, I want to kind of give her responsibilities down here in the fish room to kind of teach her the skills of it, but I also want to teach her the responsibility of it. And, as she gets older, if she decides that she actually likes the hobby, then yeah, I'll absolutely let her do some tanks down here. Because that's something I would love to share with her, but I'm not going to force it on her. There's no way I'm going to actually force her onto this. 21 people watching. Wow, I cannot believe this. Thank you. Honestly, thank you so much for everybody that's coming and joined. I really appreciate it. The support I've been receiving on this fish room build has been overwhelming. It's been a lot of fun too. I gotta get things moving. Just keep hitting those snags. But I have filmed a few videos this weekend. I'm very excited for that. We kind of give some updates on some of the tanks. And I got the new nano tank up there. Really excited for that one. And Guppy Guru is telling everybody to smash the like button. Appreciate it, brother. I really do. These I say, so I do hope to make these a weekly stream as things kind of start calming down, getting back into the thick of things. I've been working outside a lot and getting things ready to go. What we got here? Okay, where are we at? What do we got? Did I miss anything? I don't think so. What else do we got here? Aquatic monkey business. Any ponds in the future for you? Maybe. It's a big maybe. I really want to. I really want to do something similar to what Bay Area Aquatics recently did with his outdoor ponds. I would love to set those up. I love how simple they are, and it's cheap. Like, it's actually fairly cheap to set those up. But we have a spot in our backyard. So in the very back of our yard, it's a fairly small yard. There's really awkward hills there. My wife has been working very hard, and she actually built this sweet garden back there this weekend. So I got that up and going. But then kind of right across from that, next to the house, there's this really awkward dirt patch. It was awkward enough that we didn't know if we were going to put grass there, so we didn't. We talked about doing a shed, but then my wife actually saw a pond with the water feature and really liked it. So we are now starting the conversation of if I get to build a pond. And if I do, it's going to be kind of cool. It'd be like a 6x4 pond, if not bigger. So it'll be interesting. And then I'm going to throw in massive amounts of rice fish in there and just let them go insane. It's going to be the coolest thing ever. I know Guppy Guru's talking about doing a pond. Michael, let's say, already beat us to it. And you're going to see some explosion of breeding coming out of Bay Area Aquatics, especially those ponds. It's going to be really sweet to come. So ponds, I think, yeah, there's one in the future, even if it's a small one. If you watch Ryo Watanabe, he does some sweet Japanese rice fish kind of pots. Like he'll call them a pond, but it's kind of a pot. So my wife told me that I can for sure do one of those. Just, it needs to be decorative, but I may hold off on that this year, especially if we're going to start actually, building a pond. That'd probably be like my next big project. Sharon Miller, how do you tell the sex of rice fish? And HC Aqua coming in hot. Males are slimmer and then have slightly longer and serrated fins. Yes, I have noticed that as well. I have one male in my Javanese rice fish colony that his fins are awesome. They are insane. This is how slim his body is, but then the way the fins come off of his body, because he's so slim, it looks like just like a tattered flag flying in the wind when he swims. He has some of the most majestic fins, but the females are much bulkier. They're going to have some shorter fins because it's one, they produce the eggs, and then two, they carry the eggs right on those on the anal fin. So I don't know how to describe it. Like the fin's set up in a way that they can stick the eggs to it, and it's really nice, really nice. So that's the way to tell him. So I will definitely agree with HC Aqua there, and he has much more rice fish experience than I do. But the males are slimmer, and they have the tattered fins usually, and we're going to see. Jeff Chambers got 2 of those pots today. Silicone 1 that was cracked. I'm going to try them out. So let me know how it goes for you. I've been wanting to kind of put a pot out, put some rice fish out there, and do something like guppy grass, if not like a lily in there, to see if I can't get them to breed. I'm curious on the temperatures, though. I do know they can take a wide range of temperatures, but it's my house is so weird. Like, my backyard gets cooked with sun. My front yard gets some sun. So I want to play with some things. And that's one thing, too. If I put a pond out back, I want to make sure I can keep the temperatures right. but I also really want to experiment. Me and Peter have been talking about potentially trying to overwinter fish in Utah, through the winter. I know like Corey does it up in Washington. I think I may get a little colder here at night, not 100% sure. But I remember as a kid having to change my dog's water all the time in the morning because it was frozen, just straight frozen over. But I think if I can build the pond, if I do a pond, that is, I don't know if I'd overwinter rice fish in the pots, because I would be concerned about the pot actually cracking. But a properly built pond, I think I could do it. Build it, kind of a raised pond platform, so a little taller, and overwinter. And Bay Area Aquatics coming in from the swoop. I can do it here in California. Yeah, I know, but California is so freaking hot in the summer. So I can't do it. I'm not giving up my mountains. You can have California. So we may have to do some trading of the rice fishes to do something out there. What we got here? Up to 23 people. You guys are the best. Absolutely the best. Only 8 or 9 degrees. I think we hit 70 degrees here in Utah today. It was nice. It was really nice outside. Spent some time out there, kind of working down here in the fish room. I think tonight I may work on starting the plumbing on the 220. I got some good energy. Let's see. Sharon lives down on the Gulf Coast of Texas, so no pond for me, too hot. I actually have some family that lives down in Texas, and I had my sister and her family actually just moved down to Louisiana recently. But Texas is a great place. But even I wonder if you could find some. I wonder if you could. I bet you there's some kind of like cichlid or something that would love. Oh, I got it, Sharon. We need to do you an outdoor discus pond. How awesome would that be if we could pull that off? Like get some heat going down there, throw some discus in there. Can you imagine the coloration of those fish in the sun? That would be insane. Oh my God, we need to do this. Like, how are we going to make this happen? I'm going to take this to the think tank chat. We are going to come together and we are going to build you a discus pond. I'm probably totally kidding, but that's still like one of the best ideas I've ever had. I don't think I've ever seen. I wonder if I can. Let's go to Google. Outdoor discus pond. It's probably been done somewhere. I'm sure somebody's done it. Yeah, it's a bunch of goldfish. Still a bunch of goldfish. I don't know. I still think that would be insane. Do a discus pond outside. That would still be kind of cool. Let's see. Emmanuel, welcome. Appreciate you coming in. Is that an acrylic 220? Yes. This 220 is full acrylic. It's very dirty. I bought it secondhand. And I purposely made sure this was acrylic this go around, as my previous 220-gallon tank was a Marineland glass, and it broke. And it was a terrible, terrible time. There was a lot of water coming on the floor. But I did, I had an epiphany about that, actually. So it's funny you bring that up. It kind of gives me this thought. So Emmanuel, that you talk about that is acrylic. So my old 220 was glass, and when it broke, I actually thought that like the tank cracked. I really did. As I got taking it down, looking at it, I could tell that down in the bottom of it, the actual bottom panel of the tank, and then where it meets the side panel, I could tell the silicone right there wasn't intact. So it actually looked like the complete, like almost separated. And I didn't think anything of it other than like, oh, that's terrible. Like the silicone was bad. I should have done a reseal, something. But then there is a channel called Quebec Cichlids. And I was watching her channel the other day, and she actually put up a video talking about how she has a 150-gallon Marineland tank that leaked on her. It leaked once. She broke it down, resealed it. It leaked again. Then she resealed it a third time. But it wasn't until she was working on resealing it that third time that she found out, granted, she actually got into the tank to reseal it. I never did that with my 220. But she found out a couple things. The bottom trim was cracked. So the bottom trim wasn't in place. It wasn't working properly. And then she actually felt the bottom panel move, like shift. but it was still silicone together. And she talked about it, that she figured out that the trim actually gave out, like it lost the support to keep together the two glass panels together. So I think what happened on my glass 220 is that when we were moving it downstairs, I do remember that the trim broke, and I super glued it back on all the things. Didn't think anything of it, but because that trim broke, it actually allowed the weight of the water and just the sand it actually separated the bottom panel from the side panel. So it was insane. Like I never thought about it that way. So now I actually have a better understanding. I'm not going to say a full understanding, but a better understanding of why tanks are built the way they are, especially the ones with the black trim on it. I now understand, like, that's important. That actually is really important to have on there. And I know there's a fairly large YouTube channel that he promotes the practice of taking the black trim off as just a decorative thing, making like any tank a rimless tank. And I think that's just a horrible idea that's going to end in absolute disaster. I mean, it's one thing taking off the black trim, or like even the trim of any tank, to replace it, to fix it, if you're maybe breaking the tank apart for whatever reason. But I would highly recommend just never remove that trim and run it as a rimless tank. It is not set up that way. That's what's interesting about these new Aqueon rimless tanks, is the top does not have a trim, but the bottom has a trim. But when you compare it to an actual rimless tank, like full rimless tank, on a true rimless tank where there's no trim on it, the glass is typically thicker and the silicone is done a little differently. Where you look at these Aqueon tanks, there's a reason they still have that bottom trim on it. Like, it's to actually support the tank. Still looks nice, absolutely still looks awesome. But it's just, so there's a huge rant for you. But yeah, thanks for coming in. Contra Train, welcome. Dustin's Fishtanks did a video about his friend who left some distance in a pond to die in Kentucky. Interesting. Do they live? Do they die? I gotta know more. I've got to know what happened. That was the biggest cliffhanger of a message. But yeah, I actually wonder if they would be out there. Barrier Aquatics is a side viewing panel. Distance would be hard to see from above. That's why I love rice fish so much. You can put rice fish in and they look so majestic swimming when you're actually looking down on them. Emmanuel, I would like to get a bigger tank when I move out of my current apartment here in New York, but I'm terrified of glass. So I know, like, it depends on where you get it from. The company called Custom Aquariums, if you're willing to pay the money for it, those glass tanks, I would trust them. Absolutely would trust them. The way they're built, put together. I know a few channels, well, actually probably a lot of channels, have actually been to their facility and seen the tanks put together. One of my favorite channels is called Fish of Hex. He has a 300-gallon glass tank from them that he's turned into one of the most beautiful reef tanks I've ever seen. So glass tanks, like, they can be good, but if you're going, in my opinion, if you're going above like a 120, look into acrylic. It can be a little more expensive up front, but the way the seams are actually chemically bonded together, I don't think you're gonna like. I trust this. Like, I fully trust this tank. And moving that glass 220-gallon tank was insane. It took 5 of us to get it down the stairs. Me and my dad, we did this ourselves. Me and him moved this 6-foot acrylic tank down the stairs, no problem. So I would definitely check out a larger acrylic tank. And up there in New York, I mean, I bet you may be able to find some decent ones. It seems like a lot of times back east, people have some really nice acrylic tanks. Aquatic Monkey Business, and just like that, our mom now loves acrylic. I wish I could find more acrylic tanks in my area. The smaller ones, I'm fine with. The glass, those are super interesting, like, and easy to get to, right? Like the Petco $1 per gallon sale, stuff like that. But on these larger tanks, anything over 120 gallons now, I will always do acrylic, especially if I ever upgrade my Mabu puffer out of this tank. Like, absolutely will be acrylic. I'm not messing around with glass on that big of a build. Koi Dragon Aquatics, welcome. Happy to have you here. You may have been here before. I don't necessarily remember that name, so I apologize if I'm completely missing that. Contra train, the discus definitely died over winter. Didn't think about that. Good point. So I guess that was not the biggest cliffhanger of anything. It's unfortunate he left them out. It's kind of sad, but I guess such is life. Some people don't care. But yeah, I would. I know I really like Zenzo's pond. The way Tazawa Tanks, how he's built his pond. I really like that. I want to do something like that. But what are we at here? 50 minutes. Well, I was definitely late into the stream. My computer needed to update right before I got on the stream, which is just great, right? As I'm working on doing that. So again, I do hope to make this a weekly venture. It will be, we'll see what comes with my work schedule, but I will definitely keep up with Mr. B's, making sure that my schedule is posted up each week with him, as he does a lot of work for us. And while I'm here, I want to definitely say thank you, though, to Sharon Miller for modding with us. She's now part of the Well-Don Tanks mod team. And we got Bay Area Aquatics and Guppy Guru in the house helping us out as well. Make sure to subscribe to both Guppy Guru and Bay Area Aquatics. They're both working on some sweet, sweet things. Peter recently just put out a awesome video of a new fry food from San Francisco. Is it San Francisco Bay? What is it? Ugh, I can never remember. San Francisco Bay Cyclops. Man, that stuff is awesome. My bottle just came in the other day. Really excited to try it. Peter's guppies were going absolutely insane for this food. So it's gonna be great. Like it's gonna take over the world. Just you watch. And then Michael, Barry Aquatics, man, he's that kid can make some videos. Damn, that kid can make some videos. He's got some sweet stuff going on, so it's kind of fun. He really talks up the box filters. So I finally jumped off the cliff. I bought a box filter. I'm gonna do some testing on it, but it's gonna be fun. I love talking with them. But with his pond stuff going on, you're going to see some intense stuff coming out. I keep trying to talk him into it. I want to see like a hunting video where he's hunting down the squirrels and the pigeons that come sneaking around his ponds. They're cracking me up. And if you want to follow one of the best quarantine stories, find him on Facebook. He's hilarious. The stuff that he's come up with, I absolutely love it. Contra train. I'm going to start a 300-gallon stock pond soon, then work on a pond similar to Zenzo's. I have a nice enclosed patio. That is awesome. That's really cool. There was a 500-gallon stock pond that came up for sale in my area, but I just have nowhere to put it. Like I really have nowhere to put a 500-gallon stock pond. But I think they're great. They're great options for ponds. So really interested to see what you do with that. Guppy Guru says they will be stocking next week. It's all sold out. Went so quick. Well, that sucks. Definitely watch that on Amazon and check out Guppy Guru's channel on the San Francisco-based Cyclops. He has an exclusive discount code that you will not want to miss out on when it does come back in stock. Griffin Fish Room, welcome. Glad to have you here. Silent Water 81. Can you do a species profile on rice fish? Interested to see what all the hype is about. Yes, I will be doing that. It is on my list of videos to make and something I actually want to produce. I mean, I can talk to you about them now, but I really want to do an overall video, honing in some, trying to get some macro footage of them, hopefully maybe even do some interviews with other people that keep them, get their input on it. But for me personally, it's the color of them. The colors I can get, but then a lot of it too is just the breeding behavior of these fish. The way the females carry the eggs and then actually go drop them off into like a plant or a spawning mop is just super, super cool to me. So they kind of have the derpiness of a guppy, but then the spunky attitude of a tetra kind of mixed into one. So it's a fairly derpy fish running around, but they can move fairly quick. But when you get them in a top view, that's why I really want to get them in a pond. When you get them from the top view down, their fins actually come up over their head. So it kind of looks like they're waving at you as they swim by. And I think they're hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. But beyond that, they're also this has become one of my favorite fish in way of color. The daisy blue rice fish is one of the most underrated fish in this hobby. If more people could see the blue sheen that goes across their body, and then the red on mine, they have this red racer right across the back. So it's this blue sheen, red racer, super cool fish. Like my Javanese rice fish, it's actually the front portion of the body is more of a milky white, where the back half of the body is actually like clear. So you can actually see into like the spine of the fish. The orange Binaca rice fish that I recently just got in have a really nice orange coloration to them. And I still have some rice fish on order. No idea when they're going to get here, but those I really hope are going to blow some people's minds. I'm very excited for that. But absolutely, though, I will put together a species profile on them, and I really want to get into depth on breeding them too, show people how easy that is. Bay Area Aquatics, hashtag box for life, hashtag them be fighting words. We'll follow up on that later. Sharon Miller, I have 3 bottles of Cyclops now. You must have been one of the lucky ones that got them because they sold out fast. I actually wish I bought the big bottle. I bought the little bottle, but definitely wish that I had bought the bigger bottle of it. Cancer Train, I have some rice fish in a 20-gallon long. Previously, I planted 75, and I got a lot of spawning activity, but never fry. So once you see them actually having the eggs, the best success that I have had in breeding the rice fish is floating plants. Red root floaters worked really well for me. I really think that guppy grass would be a fantastic one. I want to play with that. But I've also had a lot of success when I have spawning mops in the tank. Then even pulling that spawning mop from the tank full of eggs over to a separate tank and is it Sergeant Tanks? Is that what he goes by? I think he goes by Sergeant Tanks on YouTube. He used shoeboxes, plastic shoeboxes to hatch the eggs in. So it's something I want to try. I got some ideas I want to play with breeding rice fish down here in the new fish room because they absolutely are they're beautiful fish. Emmanuel, will you be recording how you set up your 220-gallon sump? Sorry, I talk so fast when I get excited sometimes and I forget to breathe. That just shows you how much I'm having fun with this. Emmanuel, yes, I will be. If you look way back into my channel, let me see if I can pull it up here. But actually, I'm going to send the mods on a mission. So way back into my channel, I did a video setting up the original sump on the original 220-gallon tank. I think it's titled something like "It Leaked Plumbing the 220-gallon." Maybe somebody can post a link into that. But yes, I will be doing it again. I'm probably going to copy that same way I did that original sump, is that it worked so well for me. I use 5-gallon buckets. So I did get that idea from the King of DIY. That's where I originally saw it. And you actually make it a trickle tower. And then, it looks like Bay Area Aquatics got it. I think he posted up the video for you. That's the one. So I would check that video out, as that is the one. Super, really simple. So you use 5-gallon buckets, make like a trickle tower out of it, but then it's also it's fairly cheap too. And then I had some bio balls on hand that I used for one of the buckets, but then go to the dollar store and pick up the pot scrubbies, and those work just as well. So you lay some filter floss on that, let it trickle through, and then just for safe measure, I tossed in a bunch of bio rings down the bottom of it, and that kept my tank so clear. So in that original video, though, you will see that I was using an FX6 canister filter as the main return pump on it. It was kind of an experiment I wanted to do, and I just loaded that canister filter with sponge. And so that worked really, that actually worked better than I thought it would. But this time around, I will be adapting it slightly, as I don't have an FX6 canister filter to use. And we'll just be using just a regular return pump. But yeah, I will definitely film it again. Yeah, I gotta cut out that bulkhead though the previous owner left in there. Jeez. All right, so what do we got? Let's sit here. Silent Water 81, can't wait to see your enthusiasm for them, and the hobby is definitely contagious. Well, thank you. I know I'm a nerd, and I know that because I keep fish in a glass box and I take pictures of them. But you know what, though? I absolutely love this hobby. Love what it does for me. I love the mic. I actually sat in my current fish room last night for like 30 minutes. Literally just sat there, sat on the floor, and just watched. Just watched the fish. I watched the rice fish. I got a live bear that I really haven't talked about at all on the channel. Peter and Michael know what they are, but I haven't talked about them. Haven't had them for a few months. No breeding yet though. But last night, just sitting there and watching, I saw a couple males just sparring for females' attention. So that was really cool to see that. Really cool to see that. So I definitely appreciate that. Zelf or Nine, I think. I'm going to say that correctly, hopefully. Thank you for coming in. What was that? Was that when you became your hero? I'm missing something. I know I'm missing something. Was that when you became your hero? Oof. Sorry, man. Maybe say your question again, then I can get it there. What are we at? Just over an hour. All right. Thank you, everybody, for coming in. I know that this was a different stream tonight as I oh, sorry, wife. Hopefully we got some good things going in there. But I do appreciate everybody coming in. So we're kind of over that hour mark. I think this is where we're going to start wrapping up. But again, though, thank you to everybody that came in and modded for me. And I really just appreciate everybody coming in. Probably the best thing about this hobby is the people I've been able to meet. I can't say how many. I mean, I've made so many friends with this hobby, especially you can tell with Barry Aquatics and Guppy Guru. It just those two become good friends. Sharon's become a good friend, and just everybody coming into the chat. It's just super cool to see that we can come together in these insane times. I mean, where are we at? 20 people watching? That's still super cool. Like there's 20 of us fish nerds in here, hanging out, talking, having a good time, and I love it. So. HC Aqua sitting on a lot of daisy fish fry. I just hope dragonfly nymphs don't hit the tub. I hope so too, for your sake, my friend. I'm curious to see if I get tubs going, if I'll have the same issue. Emmanuel, keep up the great videos. Really like watching the build process. Thank you. I very much appreciate it. Like I say, I got a few videos filmed this weekend. I think I'm going to come back down here and work tonight as soon as the kid goes to bed because I got a good energy flowing. And this 220 has been dry for way too long. It's time to get things moving. And Barry Aquatics is going to keep making fun of me if I don't get this breeding rack up and running. He's always on me. But though, thank you, everybody. I appreciate you coming in. So make sure to watch for the Fish Tubers notification on the Facebook. So again, huge shout out to Mr. Bees for taking care of that for us. I will get my weekly time frames posted up in there, as they will change from week to week. But for now, thank you. Enjoy your fish. Do something new. Go out there, have fun. Don't get sick. Don't die. I don't know how you end these things. But for now, the time being, love you all, and we will see you in the next one.